Hey, this is Aaron from Nerd Park with another episode of Comics in the Park. I haven't seen the sun in days. It's a little bit of a winter wonderland outside, and since my comic book store is in the next state over, I don't have any new comics to review this week. So I thought this would be an excellent opportunity to talk about the big rivalry, Marvel vs. DC. Now, this isn't so much a discussion about what angsty Marvel teenager can beat up which DC dark vigilante. This is more of a discussion about the publishers themselves, because I've got a lot of friends who want to get into reading comic books, but they're not entirely sure where to start. I've always said the big difference between Marvel and DC is that DC is about godlike beings trying to live like normal people, whereas Marvel is about normal people with the power of godlike beings. Of the two, Marvel tends to be more relatable, especially to a younger audience, but DC is full of classic, iconic characters that are just fun to read about. Both of them have had some really great stories, and they've both had some really not-so-great stories. Clone Saga. Sorry, I seem to have something stuck in my... All-Star Superman! And Batman! In all honesty, though, I like both Marvel and DC. I don't necessarily prescribe to this theory that you have to like one over the other. That's just ridiculous nonsense. I happen to know that both companies are more than happy to take our money regardless of what character we happen to be wearing on our shirt. In fact, until recently, both publishers got along fairly well. They've had a lot of fairly obvious tongue-in-cheek styled crossovers over the years, like a couple of superheroes that looked very X-Men-like popping up in the original run on Teen Titans, and a character named Buried Allen winning the fastest man in the universe race in Marvel at one point. They've even had some official crossovers, including Batman meets the Incredible Hulk and Superman vs. Spider-Man. No, seriously, that really happened. Look it up. In fact, a few years later, Spider-Man came back for more when he teamed up with Batman to take on Joker and Carnage. Talk about a crazy train. All of this eventually led to the big crossover event, Marvel vs. DC, the showdown to end all showdowns. And the fans actually got to send in their votes to decide who the winners were. Marvel just barely managed to take home the gold in that match, but I still say Wonder Woman got robbed in her fight against Storm. Of course, that title ended the only way it could, with some crazy, freaky fusion between both universes. The Amalgam comic books. They were silly and fun, and I think most of the fans really enjoyed them. But unfortunately, shortly after that, the friendly rivalry became a little less friendly. While Marvel has referred to DC as distinguished competition, back when he was editor-in-chief, Joe Quesada did go on record as saying that DC and Marvel can never be friends. And we haven't seen any crossovers between the two ever since. Trust me, I know how you all feel. I miss Lobo the Duck too. Lately, Marvel has proven itself to be the more progressive of the two publishers, by including characters with more ethnically diverse backgrounds, and even going as far to switch the gender of some of their more popular characters, including Wolverine and Thor. DC has definitely gone the more dark and brooding route. With the launch of the New 52 line of comics, they definitely tried to cash in on some of Marvel's old bag of tricks, though it didn't necessarily work out for them quite the way it would hope. With a few minor exceptions, Marvel definitely seems to be stomping them as far as character development and storylines go. But DC is starting to turn the boat around a little bit. They've toned down some of their really over-sexualized female characters, and made them more modern and trendy, more of a positive role model for females. They took some risk with some of their more popular characters, like making Jim Gordon Batman and taking away Superman's powers, which didn't really go over too well critically with the fans. But word is, with issue 50, we're going to see Bruce Wayne picking up the mantle of Batman once again, and Superman's going to have his abilities back soon. So we may be getting some new storylines with our iconic characters at DC once again. So I guess, in conclusion, if you're looking for relatable, flawed, fun characters with more of a feel-good progressive attitude, I would definitely recommend picking up Marvel Comics. But if you're looking for iconic, larger-than-life heroes with plenty of mystery and action, DC is the way to go. Or if you're like me, just read both. It is not a crime to be a fan of both publishers.